The human mind is a labyrinth full of traps. Often, the words we choose reveal more about us than we realize. Imagine someone who, behind a smile, holds valuable secret. What is it that this person never says? Each unspoken phrase is a disguised lesson, a lost opportunity to reflect and grow. Now think about everyday conversations. How many times have you heard words that sounded empty or even harmful? The wisest people know that silence can be more powerful than a long speech. And here's the question: what truly hides behind wisdom? How can words shape the perception we have of ourselves and others? Sometimes, what goes unsaid is just as important as what is said. What might these intelligent people keep to themselves? What profound thoughts remain within them while the world keeps spinning? Get ready to discover these 7 truths. Each one could change the way you communicate and see yourself in the world. Stay tuned because the surprises are just beginning. I'm always right. When someone categorically states that they are always right, it's a clear sign that this person is unwilling to listen to other opinions. It's as if they are wearing a blindfold that prevents them from seeing new perspective. This closed mindset can be quite limiting, both in personal and professional situations. After all, the exchange of ideas is essential for learning and growth. If a person is always right, where is the space for dialogue? Furthermore, this attitude can affect relationships. Friends and coworkers may feel discouraged from sharing their opinions, fearing they will be ignored or belittled. Communication becomes a monologue, and this can create a hostile and uncollaborative environment. Nobody likes to feel devalued, and a lack of openness can drive people away. In a constantly changing world, it's essential to be flexible and open to new ideas. Science, for example, advances because researchers are willing to question theories and consider new evidence. If everyone thought they were always right, progress would stagnate. Therefore, it's important to cultivate humility and recognize that we can learn from others, regardless of our experience. A lack of openness can also lead to poor decisions. When someone refuses to consider different opinions, they risk taking paths that are not the best. This is especially true in work environments where collaboration is crucial for success. A team that doesn't listen to its diverse voices may end up failing to meet its goals. Finally, it's important to remember that being right isn't the most important thing. The focus should be on seeking solutions and continuous learning. Being open to new ideas not only enriches one's own life, but also strengthens bonds with others. When we accept that we might be wrong, we create space for growth and the building of healthier relationships. That's not my problem. When someone says that's not my problem, they are actually putting up a barrier between themselves and the world around them. This phrase is often used to shirk responsibility, demonstrating a lack of empathy. Living in society means collaborating and caring about others' issues, and this phrase is a clear sign that the person prefers to isolate themselves in their own bubble. This type of attitude can be especially detrimental in collective contexts, such as a workplace or community. When a team member doesn't care about the challenges faced by others, the spirit of collaboration is lost. Problems don't disappear just because someone decides not to get involved. On the contrary, they tend to worsen, affecting everyone around. Additionally, a lack of responsibility can lead to a culture of apathy. If each person thinks this way, no one will feel motivated to help. This can create a toxic environment where people feel alone in their struggles. Empathy is one of the cornerstones of healthy relationships, and ignoring it can result in a vicious cycle of indifference. Responsibility is a two-way street. When we help others, we are also contributing to a more positive and collaborative environment. This attitude can bring benefits not only to those receiving help, but also to those offering. Building a support network strengthens community ties and improves the quality of life for everyone. It's important to remember that we all face difficulties at some point. Being supportive and willing to help can make a big difference in someone's life. Instead of pulling away, why not reach out? Shared responsibility can turn individual problems into collective solutions, bringing a sense of belonging and purpose. I don't know, but I don't want to learn. The phrase, "I don't know, but I don't want to learn," exemplifies a resistance to growth and learning. This attitude is common in people who feel comfortable in their comfort zone and see no value in expanding their horizon. The problem is that this intellectual stagnation can have serious consequences, both in personal and professional life. When someone refuses to learn, they miss valuable opportunities for development. The world is constantly evolving, and new skills are always in demand. Technology, for example, changes rapidly, and those who are unwilling to learn may fall behind. This resistance can limit not only career opportunities, but also personal growth. Furthermore, this stance can affect dynamics in groups and teams. When a person is unwilling to learn, they can become a burden to others. Learning is a collective effort, and everyone benefits when each person is willing to contribute. Refusal to learn can generate frustration and demotivation among group members. Resistance to learning can also be a sign of fear. Fear of failing or not being good enough can paralyze many people. However, it's important to understand that mistakes are part of the learning process. By facing this fear and opening up to new experiences, it's possible to grow and become more resilient. Finally, the willingness to learn is one of a person's greatest assets. Continuous learning not only enriches life, but also provides a sense of achievement. Instead of shutting yourself off, why not open the doors to new experiences? Life is a journey of discoveries, and every opportunity to learn, the chance to become a better version of yourself. I don't care about other people's opinion. When someone says they don't care about other people's opinion, it is a clear sign that this person may be shutting themselves off from the world around them. Ignoring feedback from others can be a trap. What often goes unnoticed is that these opinions can bring valuable insight. Sometimes, what seems like criticism is actually an opportunity. When one is willing to listen, it is possible to learn something new or even see one's own perspective in a different light. Moreover, a lack of interest in others' opinions can harm relationships. Human interactions are based on communication and mutual understanding. If a person disregards what others have to say, they run the risk of creating an environment of distrust or disinterest. No one likes to feel ignored, and this can lead to a natural distancing from those around them. Dialogue is essential for strengthening bonds, and this requires an open mind. On the other hand, it is natural for some people to struggle with receiving criticism. They may feel that their ideas or actions are being attacked, instead of being viewed as a starting point for a conversation. This defensiveness can be an instinctive reaction, but it is important to realize that feedback does not need to be seen as a personal judgment. On the contrary, it can be an opportunity for improvement and self-discovery. Additionally, by disregarding others' opinions, a person may be limiting their own perspective. The world is vast and diverse, and everyone's experiences bring something unique. By listening to others, it is possible to broaden horizons and enrich one's own knowledge. This exchange of ideas can generate new solutions and approaches to problems that previously seemed unsolvable. Finally, it is important to remember that interpersonal relationships are a two-way street. For them to be healthy and productive, there must be space for the exchange of ideas. Respecting other people's opinions does not mean that you have to agree with everything, but rather that you are willing to listen and consider. This attitude not only improves relationships, also helps build a more empathetic and collaborative community. I never make mistakes. The statement, "I never make mistakes," might sound like a sign of confidence, but in reality, it reveals a profound lack of self-awareness. No one is perfect, and recognizing this is one of the first steps towards learning and personal growth. When someone believes they never make mistakes, they are depriving themselves of one of the greatest opportunities for growth: reflection on their failure. Making mistakes is human and is part of the learning process. Furthermore, this attitude can create a toxic environment around them. When people feel intimidated by someone who does not accept the possibility of making mistakes, they may withdraw. This can hinder communication and collaboration, as no one feels comfortable sharing their ideas or questioning that person's action. Thus, by failing to acknowledge their own mistakes, they end up isolating themselves from others. The inability to admit failures also prevents the person from learning from their experiences. Life is full of lessons, and many of them come from situations where we do not come out as planned. if one is not willing to look at these situations and understand what can be improved, they risk repeating the same mistakes indefinitely. This stagnation can be detrimental in various areas of life, whether at work, in relationships, or in personal development. Another important issue is that refusing to acknowledge mistakes can lead to arrogance. When someone always sees themselves as right, it can become insensitive to the needs and feelings of others. This not only harms relationships, but can also affect the person's reputation. Humility is a quality admired by many, and recognizing that we are fallible is a sign of maturity and self-awareness. Finally, admitting mistakes is an essential step in building a growth mindset. When one accepts that making mistakes is part of the journey, it is possible to open up to new experiences and learn from each one. This attitude not only enriches personal life, but also contributes to a healthier and more collaborative environment around us. Being able to say, "I was wrong," is in fact a sign of strength and courage. This is how it has always been done. When someone says, "This is how it has always been done," they are expressing a resistance to change that can be quite limiting. This type of mindset is based on the idea that the past is always the best reference for the present and future. Often, traditions hold undeniable value and may have worked well in their original context. However, the world is in constant transformation, and what worked before may not be effective now. This lack of openness to new approaches can lead to stagnation and missed opportunities. Furthermore, this attitude can manifest in various aspects of life, from the workplace to personal relationships. Imagine a company that refuses to adopt new technologies because it has always done things a certain way. Over time, this resistance can result in underperformance and loss of competitiveness. Competitors who are willing to innovate can quickly surpass those who remain stuck in the past. The rejection of innovation can also influence the culture of a group or organization. A team that values tradition over creativity may stifle new ideas and inhibit the motivation of its members. This can create an environment where people feel discouraged from contributing, as their suggestions may be dismissed simply because they don't fit the right way of doing things. This lack of diversity in thought can be detrimental and limit growth potential. It is important to remember that change does not mean discarding everything that has been done before. Often, the best innovations are based on solid foundations. Instead of completely rejecting traditions, it is possible to adapt and enhance them with new ideas. Combination of the old and the new can result in creative and effective solutions, which value history, while also embracing the future. Finally, the willingness to question the status quo is essential for personal and collective development. By considering new ways of doing things, we open the door to experimentation and discovery. This not only helps us grow, but also makes us more resilient in a constantly changing world. It is the flexibility to evolve that often defines success. I don't have time for this. When someone claims, "I don't have time for this," they are usually expressing a lack of priority regarding certain discussions or learning. This statement may seem harmless at first glance, but it hides an intellectual laziness that can have negative consequences. Often what is at stake is the ability to reflect on important issues and to develop as an individual. Ignoring these opportunities can lead to a depletion of experiences and knowledge. The lack of time can be a convenient excuse. However, it is essential to question whether we truly don't have time, or if we simply are not willing to dedicate a space in our routine, what really matters. In such a fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the routine and set aside conversations that enrich us. Sometimes investing a few minutes in a meaningful dialogue can yield much greater returns in terms of learning and personal growth. Moreover, this mentality can indicate a lack of value placed on continuous learning. Personal development is not just a necessity, but a responsibility for each individual. When we say we don't have time, we are often downplaying the importance of becoming better versions of ourselves. This can result in stagnation. It becomes increasingly difficult to overcome over time. It is also important to consider the consequences of this lack of willingness. Meaningful conversations and learning opportunities are what help us broaden our horizons and build deeper relationships. If we shut ourselves off from this, we risk becoming isolated and disconnected from the world around us. In a collaborative environment, for example, time invested in constructive discussions can strengthen bonds and promote a culture of support and innovation. Finally, the real challenge lies in managing our time effectively. What truly matters in our lives? What can be set aside in favor of personal and professional growth? By reflecting on these questions, we may discover that there is always room to learn and evolve, even amidst the hustle and bustle of daily life. Now that we have explored the 7 things that an intelligent person never says, it's time to reflect. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about how your words can shape your reality? Remember, communication is a powerful tool. What you say and how you say it can open doors or close them. Think about this. When was the last time you paused to evaluate your own speech? Do they reflect your true potential? One of the greatest lessons of Stoicism is that we have control over our reactions. The way we express ourselves is a choice. Now, imagine how your life would be if you committed to using words that uplift and inspire. What new habits can you adopt to communicate more intelligently? How about starting today? And don't forget, learning never ends. What lessons will you bring into your routine? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's create a space for exchange and growth together. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, and remember, wisdom lies in the small choices of everyday life.